Everyone, welcome back. As part of our previous video, we have created the projection views on top of travel, booking, and booking supplement interface views. So, in this video, we will be covering the metadata extensions and what is the metadata extension, and we will try to do the service definition and service binding, and let us see how the app is looking. So before going to metadata extension, I would like to add some more thing here in our projection view. What is that means? Here we have the agency id. Apart from the agency id, I want the agency name also. So for that, I will get the agency name from the exposed association, which is the agency. Underscore agency dot. Here I have the we will be having the agency name also. This one agency dot name, which gives the agency name as agency name. And for customer id also, I want the customer name. So we have the exposed association for customer also. And here I want the last name as customer name. And for this overall status also, I want the text, whether it is open, new, or cancelled, like that. Instead of id, I want both the id and the text also. So we have this exposed association underscore status. From that underscore status, we have some association which is there inside underscore status, which is underscore text. And inside that, we have the overall status text, this one as overall status text. Okay, we are getting some error here. The association underscore text can modify the cardinality of the result set. Okay, path expressions with association cardinality greater than one not supported here. Okay, if we just open this one underscore status, this is the one which is the CDS view. And for text, we are going into this one. And if we do the preview for this entity, I think we have the language also. Okay, we have open, accepted, and rejected, three values which are in English. I want this text in the local language. So I will add one keyword which is localized, so that it will get the text in our SAP logon language instead of getting the text in multiple languages. Here in our interface view for our travel, we have mentioned one to one relationship. For every overall status, there will be only one text. So that for having only one text means it has to be in localized language. So that means the cardinality whatever we are giving in our interface view, it won't be violated. If you don't give this localized one, it tries to get the text in multiple languages. So our error is resolved, and let us activate this one. Okay, our CDS is activated. These are the changes we have done: getting the agency name from the exposed association, customer, and the state overall status text we have retrieved from our exposed associations. Now we have to create the metadata extension for defining the UI annotations. We can create the UI annotations here in our projection view also, but it is always recommended to use the metadata extension file, since it will separate the UI annotations and it will be helpful. Like, if you are doing that UI annotations here, it will be very confused and it is not in the readable format, and there will be many challenges, some of the challenges we will be facing. So that's why we have to create the metadata extension. So let us go to the PPT and see what is metadata extension. Metadata extensions. So these metadata extensions we will be calling as MDE in the short form, which stands for the metadata extensions. And these are the serious objects which will allow us to add the annotations for our CDS entity outside of a CDS entity. Like, on top of a CDS view, we will be creating the metadata extension. Even if you are not including your annotations in that particular CDS view, if you write that metadata, if you write that annotations in your metadata extensions file, automatically those will be in place with the changes of your annotations. Even though I am not writing inside your CDS view, it will be in place where you can see the changes. So this metadata extensions is a serious object where you will be defining those particular annotations in a different different particular serious entity, and you can transport that independent of your serious entity, and this will contain the DDLX source code. And of course, all the particular CDS views can be edited only in the ADD. Same way, you can edit your metadata extensions only in the ADT, which is your Eclipse and all. With the help of your metadata extensions, you can add the new annotations, or if you write any annotation which is already there with some other different value, it will override your annotation values. That means whatever the annotations you are writing in your metadata extension, that will be priority. So the annotations of your metadata extension always have a higher priority than the annotation specified in the source code of the serious entity itself. So you have to make sure, if you are trying to do overwriting or something, or by mistake if you are writing the same annotation again your metadata extension, whatever you have put a particular annotation your serious entity, that will be overwritten. For creating a metadata extension, or for having the metadata extension for a particular CDS entity, the main serious entity whatever you are going to create, like that, on top of your serious entity you will be creating a metadata extension. So on which serious view you are going to create that particular metadata extension, it should have a particular annotation, which means, which is this one: metadata allow extensions true That means you will be able to create metadata extensions for the particular serious entity. If you don't have these annotations, you will be getting the error after creating your metadata extension that you can't create, not you can't create, it will give you error after creating. You will be getting the error like you don't have this annotation in your serious view. If you include that, the error will be resolved. So with these metadata extensions can be transported independently. For suppose you are doing some changes in your projection or interface view, you will have the different serious views because we are establishing the relationship between different serious views. Then for transporting, you need all the serious views to be captured in your TR. At the first time, you will be having all the artifacts, but for doing some changes, you need all the things captured to be TR because your TR will fail if you don't have the dependent artifacts. So at that time, if you have this metadata extensions, you can do the changes in your metadata extension file and you can transport it independently because you don't have any dependency in your metadata extensions. And since we are separating the metadata from the serious entity, it will help you to avoid the need for mass activation. Like different serious entities are not related to your metadata extension, so mass activation is not needed. So you can activate it easily and all the code will be separated in your metadata extensions. Mostly we will be defining the UI annotations in our metadata extensions. Some annotations we can't add in the metadata extensions, that also we will be seeing while doing the practical session. And this is the order of metadata extensions. Like you have the core, localization, industry, partner and customer. These are the different values available for your metadata extension. The highest is the customer. If you are creating a metadata extension with the value as customer, then it will have the precedence. And one more thing is you can create multiple metadata extensions for a single serious entity. So if you have multiple metadata extensions for a particular serious entity, then these values will help you which one has to execute first based on the order of priority. You have your customer at the top and then followed by partner, industry, localization and the core. So this is about the metadata extension. So these are the values. Customer, it is mainly defined for the customer, and partner, this is defined by the customer partner, and industry, this metadata extension we will be giving whenever this is for a particular SAP industry solution. And localization, we will be giving this value whenever we want something regional specific, then we will be giving this localization, like this country specific, or this should be only for this region type, we will be giving this localization. And code, this one is mainly intended for SAP's ABAP platform, so we will be using the core value for creating a metadata extension. So this is the advantage of metadata extension. Let us go into the system and create the metadata extension. Setting the metadata extension, right click on your projection view and select new metadata extension and give appropriate name. processor underscore travel underscore MDE for travel, and click on next. And here you have to select annotate entity and click on finish. We are getting some error. Ma- if you observe here, we have described or we have discussed one point, like you have to add one annotation in your cds that to allow the metadata extension. The same error it is showing here. Annotation metadata allow extensions missing in GC processor travel M. We are creating a metadata extension on top of this one, and this particular serious entity does not have that annotation. So I will go to this one and at the rate of metadata dot allow extensions true, activate. Now I want to do any change here. Once your projection view is activated, this error will be resolved automatically because we have added that annotation in our projection view and we have activated. If you observe here, that particular error is removed. We got some other things. Element name must have at least one annotation and only enum values. Here we have not provided the value, that's why we are getting different errors. I will give the value as score, which is intended for the ABAP purpose. And here for the names, I will do control space and insert all elements. I will get all the names by default. I don't want the associations. Here we have to provide the annotations. Now, what I will do is we have to add one by one annotation, which is for UI line item identification and all that we have to do. But before that, I will comment all these things and we'll try to activate this one. I think it won't be activated without any one field. Okay, it is saying at least one field should be there, one annotation. So maybe I will keep only travel ID and at the rate of uy dot line item position 10, and we have something called as label also here. These annotations we already know from our read only application. Travel ID. Now I have at least one annotation, so it is activated. If you choose annotate view, even if you are not providing one field or one annotation, it will work. But I have chosen this annotate entity instead of annotate view. Both the things you can select in your template. Now I will create the service definition and the service binding. So for creating the service definition, I will just right click on this one, new service definition, ZHD processor underscore M service definition for processor. Next, define service. This is the template which we already have. Click on finish Okay, this entity came automatically. We have to expose different entities also, which are this booking and booking supplement one. This is the booking, and I wanted to give this booking supplement one also. Expose. If you don't expose, you won't get the data of your booking and booking supplement details. So you have to expose whatever the data you want. You have to make sure your serious entity is exposed in your service definition, and activate your service definition. Now we have to create the service binding. New service binding, ZSB processor underscore M service binding for processor. Here you have to select the binding type. You have OData V2, OData Web API, OData V4, Web API, and the UI. So I am choosing OData V2 UI. You can select OData V4 UI also, and here if you observe, we are getting one message. It's recommended to use OData V4, and here we are getting some explanation that if you are using the implementation type manager without draft, and if you want to use the query elements, you use OData V2 to expose your service. In all other scenarios, OData V4 is strongly recommended. If you are doing the managed implementation without draft functionality and has to use the query elements, you have to use the OData V2. Apart from that, it is recommended to use OData V4 scenario. Why you are getting this message means, we have a concept called draft functionality. In that draft functionality, you will be giving some other table. That means the most worst or the most irritating thing we will be getting in SAP is, like, whenever you are doing something and you have not saved due to some connection issue or some timeout issue, it won't be saved. You have to do the entire process again. If you are very new to SAP, you will be facing this issue, like you don't have the habit of saving. At the last you want to save, so at the last, due to some issues, your all the code or your table data, it will be lost. So for that particular type of scenarios, we have the draft functionality. Like whenever due to something, due to power issues or some other issues, you will be doing something and forgetting, or you will be logged out of your SAP system, then after also you will be having that particular entry or thing available as draft, which is called as draft scenario. So SAP came up with this draft scenario for helping us for avoiding the loss of data. If you are not using the draft scenario in your managed scenario, then you won't be able to view the create and update options. That means even if you are creating your behavior definition, you won't be able to view the create and update options if you are going with your OData V4 protocol, which is UI. So that's why it is recommended to use OData V2. If you have the draft functionality available, then that there is no issue. There you have the create and update functionality available. But if you don't have the draft, then you can't do anything. You have to enable the draft for that particular service, then only You can view your create and update options. Delete it will be available. Maybe you can try it out this one. Just try to create a service with OData v4 and you won't be able to view that particular create and update options available to you. And try creating one more service which is of OData v2, then even without a draft scenario, then you will be able to save. If you have the draft, then you have the create and update options available irrespective of your protocol, which is for data v2 or v4. So that's why we have to be very clear here while choosing the type of your service binding. You have to activate your service binding to make this publish button available to you. Now it is disabled. Once your service binding is activated, it will be visible for you. It will be enabled for you to publish the service binding. It will take some time for publishing the service. Just click on this publish button and it will be getting some message publishing local service here like that. And instead of publishing here also you have some other option, like you have to go to your GUI and you can go to slash and IWFND or data underscore v4, I believe. That T code will help you to register your service or do the service binding. You have to give the name after activating here and you can publish it over here, over there in your GUI. That way also you can do. Still it is publishing. Since it is the trial system, it is taking some time, but in real, whether on premise or the private cloud systems, it won't take that much time because I have seen like it will publish in very faster, within fraction of seconds the publishing of the service binding will happen. But since it is the trial version, we have to wait for some time for making the service to publish. Once the service is published, we will be going into the metadata extension file and we will be adding the fields. We will be uncommenting the fields, whatever we have commented, and we will be adding the annotations and we will be seeing how the UI is looking after adding the annotations. Service binding is published, so you will be getting this entity set and association whatever we have exposed in our service definition. Let us select one entity. I will select this travel one and click on preview. So our application will be previewed after publishing the service binding. So we got the travel ID only because in our metadata extension file, we have added one field only at the line item, which is the travel ID. So that's why we are getting only travel ID. And if we just click on go, we are not getting any data because we don't have any data underlying for this particular thing, because whatever we are creating it is not directly on top of your database tables. We have created some custom tables. Let us open projection view. If you just do the data preview for this projection view, you won't be getting any data. And even if we go to this interface view, this also don't have any data since we are building it on the custom custom database table. This is the main view. This is the main table, which is the root. This doesn't have any data. Since we don't have any data present, it is not displaying data for our app. So for having the data, we have to write some code to make data available in our custom table. But before that, we have done some mistake. Here in the currency code, we have to give this custom table name, but since we have copied from the database table, standard database table, we have forgot to remove that standard database table with the custom one. We have to replace this standard table with the custom one whatever we have created, and activate the table. In the same way, we have to do it for the booking and the booking supplement tables also. Since we have this table available, we we have not got any error. And for booking supplement also, we have to replace the table name with our custom table, and have to activate this one. I will create one report, a simple report, and in that report I will fill the data for these three custom tables: travel, booking, and booking supplements. And then we will be able to see the data. So I'm not going to do that in this video. I will just do it offline, and I will show you the data available once I create the report, and we will be able to see the data in our Fury app also. So in our next video, we will be focusing mainly on our metadata extension while adding all the annotations for the different fields and making the screen more presentable. So if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and also share your opinion in the comments. See you in the next video.